Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a beer, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today, I wanted to give an update on the Absolution League starter that I took into 3.15 in the Expedition League, which is a build that has been a lot of fun to play, but has just completely underperformed expectations so far. And I went into this expecting mediocrity, but I haven't even got that. So, Absolution is a skill that targets an AoE. It's pretty much an instant hit on the ground, and when an enemy is killed by Absolution, the skill summons a Sentinel of Absolution. This is a spellcaster minion, and it will cast its own two different versions of the Absolution skill. These minions do okay damage, but there's a really awkward tension. You need to be killing blows sometimes in order to refresh the duration of these Sentinels of Absolution. However, when you've got the minions up, the minions do quite a bit of damage, and so they will often strike the killing blows. So there's a bit of a tension where you don't necessarily always have the full numbers of them up. However, I just feel the skill is undertuned and the base damage is a little bit too low, and too many of the things that you would want to do to buff your own spellcasting don't help the minions, and vice versa. So firstly, let's just have a look at the links that I've got this in. So this is a pseudo 5.5 link, I would say. You'll see that you've got that Socketed Gems can gain 50% of physical damage added as extra lightning damage. That comes from an Essence of Insanity. So that was crafted on, that I used one of those. I just traded for it off another player, and I traded for the base helm from another player. So I think I paid 2 chaos for the helmet with that fractured mod already locked on it. And then I traded for the Essence of Insanity for maybe 6 or 7. So it's about a 10 chaos helmet, and it has been sort of okay. Obviously, I got really bad other rolls on it, and I could easily I could improve this helmet by using another Essence of Insanity on it. But that's not going to solve the fundamental problems that we've got. In terms of gem levels, we're currently using a level 18 Absolution gem, which is then scaled up to 20 by the helmet's explicit mod. And level 18 supports Spell Echo, Physical to Lightning, and Summon Phantasm, which might seem like a bit of an oddball, but is exceptionally good with the Black Cane. So the Black Cane is the other thing that I tried after a bunch of people made suggestions while they were watching the stream. The Black Cane did improve things, so that meant that I removed Lightning Penetration support and replaced it with Summon Phantasm support. And then the Black Cane provides a big chunk of extra physical damage with that. So that was an upgrade as well. But even with that, we just do not have the damage. And what I want to do here is just showcase a low tier delve. This is only tier 2 map equivalent content. And this will give you a sense as to what this level 80 character with a bit of gear you're not going to find yourself by level 8, well, certainly not by the time you're doing tier 2 maps, is how it feels in an area. So you'll see here, I have to get killing blows, and that takes a few casts at the start there in order to start knocking down these enemies. Now at this point, I've got my minions following me, and they are actually killing stuff for me as well, mostly killing the stuff I've left behind, but they are also sometimes getting kills at the front as well. So at this point, it seems like it's working fine. The problem is that I do not feel that even with the 3.15 difficulty increases, I do not feel that that this character should be getting this performance in tier 2 maps. This is the sort of power level I would expect to see of a build with this investment in maybe upper to middle tier yellow maps, perhaps, but we're getting it in lower tier white. So that's the situation so far. I just got to say that this build is not performing particularly well. What I do want to do, though, is come back to it at a later point in the league, because it has been a fun playstyle and sort of something quite different to a lot else in Path of Exile. Come back to it later on when I can try and throw a fair bit of currency at forcing it to work. And here's a dangerous spot I got into there because of the ailment changes. I had used my Quicksilver Flask of Heat to move, and therefore it wasn't available when I needed it for a ailment removal. Anyways, survived that. It's been a fun build, and I've been enjoying the league, but this has not been a powerhouse or anything like it. Do I recommend playing this build? The answer is going to be no in general. The exception is if you are someone who just doesn't really care about power. You just want to try something a bit new, try the hybrid minion caster playstyle, then by all means, this is a build for you. For other people, it's not a build for you. That's all I can really say on this, and I'm going to leave it there. If you got comments or questions, fire away. Otherwise, may your Valorbs have interesting results. My next build is going to be some sort of Forbidden Rite build, and I'm currently tossing up between the ideas of going with totems or going self-cast. Self-cast, of course, will be a lot more difficult because then I will be stuck, unable to really play as my final build until I get a couple of, maybe not chase items, but semi-chase items that will be a bit later in the league.